Hi gardening friends, I'm Lark and I'm in Wisconsin Zone 5. I'd like to show you my growing area in my senior living community center where I have raised beds and some in-ground growing. We have a 4-foot cyclone fence around, and as you see I have extra tomato cages on top just to make it that the deer don't want to jump into this area here that is in ground only. So far it's worked. I did have tomatoes in here as an experiment compared to the tomatoes that are in my galvanized raised bed. Guess what? The galvanized raised beds won. And I will not be doing in-ground tomatoes next year. In fact, we're going to see if they want to make some more raised beds. The wooden raised beds, I think they're, well, these are the older ones, but here's the newer one. That's how high they are. And maybe they could make about 4 more, but we'll see if budget allows that. So back to my garden. I grow calendula and I pick it probably every other day. I use it for tea and I use it for making salves and body butters and infused oils. It's expensive to buy the dried flowers, so I grew enough of it this year that I have probably gallons, probably 4 gallons, glass jars full. Here is my lemon verbena. It is the most lemony tasting herbs. Even more lemony than lemon balm or lemongrass, lemon verbena. It is not hardy here, so I will be cutting this back severely, drying the leaves, which loses some of their lemon flavor, but that's all I can do here is dry them. I could freeze them, I guess. Maybe I'll do some of that. But I'm limited on freezer space. So I'll cut this back severely. It will go down in our underground parking spot where we have some grow lights. And just keep it alive. Same with my rosemary. This will get cut back severely. And I have 2 more of these plants, rosemary. There's a basil in there too. But that's not going to get wintered. My squash plants did okay. Just okay. Gave me enough, and it looks like some are going to still be coming on. I see a female flower is going to open tomorrow. And what I will do is, if there isn't a male flower open, I will take this male flower and whatever one else I can find, open it up and self-pollinate it with whatever pollen is left. That has worked for me, we'll see. This bed here gets mediocre sun. Peppers, not so good. Not enough sun. So we're going to do some rearranging for next year. There's one of my orange bells. Whether there'll be time for others to ripen, I do not know. This should be another orange coming up. Here's some babies. Now we're in Wisconsin. Our average frost date is about the 3rd week in October. Maybe the 2nd week. Maybe this year will be a little different. Onions did okay. I got some nice sized ones here. They're not crimped off completely, so I'm leaving them in, hoping they get a little bigger. But definite do again. Some of my lettuce transplants, I planted seeds in August. So I have lettuce now, starting now. Nasturtiums did great. Indian Empress, I eat the greens. I love this blue-green color. And I eat the flower. You know, the squirrels were digging and chipmunks digging in my pea bed that's over to the left. But they must have buried a pea here because I didn't plant any there. Second crop of dill, which hasn't thrived because of the lack of sun. My cucumber, it has had it. It's done. But I don't have the heart to pull it out yet because I have a few of these coming on, okay? And I don't know if this will amount to anything, this one here. I don't know. More flowers. I don't need the space, so I guess I could leave it in just to see what it's going to do. Yeah. There's this here one here. See, it's weird. I'll just rip that off. Oh, I don't want it to waste energy trying to produce a decent cucumber. And there's some down here. So I'll maybe get a handful, 5 cucumbers off of there yet. This is a red bell pepper. Again, not enough sun. There's probably 6 on here, I think. I've picked 2. I picked them green. So more sun next year. More lettuce that I planted. Let's see, this was planted in July. Romaine. And I planted some spinach in August. And then it got hot again. But now it's coming. It looks like it might coming. Swiss chard. Again, this is not getting enough sun. It should be much bigger. My broccoli, it's doing well in here. This cloth definitely get if you're going to grow brassicas. Really worth it. Kale's doing well. None of those white butterflies in there. Wonderful. But again, this is in mostly shade. My second planting of parsley. The first planting is over here. Oops, here's the parsley. But I'm letting it go to seed. I cut it back and it's coming back again, which is nice. But I'm letting it go to seed, so I have some seed. And then this is the, let's see, September planting of lettuce. I had the seed, so why not? If we get a frost, oh well. I won't be covering it. I don't think so. That's too much work. I'm done with that, I think. Borage, pretty. And I've let, a lot of it drop seed anyway, so I'm going to have it next year. Cosmos, just for color, pretty. The bees like it. The bees like borage. Carrots, still going. Not full sun, but they're still going. They get morning sun. Tomatoes are still coming on. This is the Juliet. I just got done roasting a couple quarts of tomatoes. These tomatoes. But you can see that I'm still getting tomatoes on here. And I'm going to let it go. Why not? Why not? But the big tomato, big boy, aren't so big anymore because there's not many leaves on it yet. But I am getting some slicing tomatoes. Covered some of them just in case the chipmunks decide they need to munch on something. Cilantro going to seed. But I eat this part. I mean, I eat every part of it. It still tastes like cilantro, especially the flowers taste good too. But we'll save some seed. Beets, they're starting to beat up, you know, get their bulb. Some bigger than others. My peas, the planting was good. Good idea. I planted them end of July. And they were doing good, and then the chipmunks found them. And they dug up some of the plants. Then after I covered the roots with stuff that they wouldn't dig in there, then the birds decided they wanted to eat the new tips off the peas. So I ended up putting netting over. Now I'm getting some flowers and some peas. Still learning. 70 plus and I'm still learning. That's nice. Very nice. So you guys, oh, let me show you my green beans. Oh, no, here's the tomato first. There were peas here. Now there's a tomato planted again, August, I think I planted this tomato. It is a beefsteak. Not looking very beefy, but this ground, it's in ground, not real good. I did amend it. I did fertilize it, but not faithfully. But I'll get some tomatoes, later tomatoes. So I did plant a second planting of Blue Lake green beans, pole beans. But it's been so chilly, and again, lack of sun. So I have beans started, but we'll see if they amount to anything. Again, in the ground, I amended it, I fertilized it, but it isn't as good as the soil in my raised beds. Now I keep whining about so much shade. Of course, this time of the year I get shade, a lot of shade, because the sun's going down over there, and we got woods over there. But this box elder tree is my sore spot. It is giving me a lot of shade, and it's going to keep giving me a lot of shade. Every year, more and more. So I talked to the director of housing here and at Village on the Square, and told her my dilemma. They don't want to take the trees down because of that natural area. So I'm asking for it to be severely pruned, especially this branch, couple branches that are going over the garden. So I asked if they remove them, fine. I will stay here in these raised beds. If they do not want to remove those branches and give me more sun, I will be taking down these raised beds, galvanized raised beds, these two, and taking the soil and moving it into these big box raised beds. Here they get full sun all day until the sun sets. I was against it because this is stained wood. It's not cedar. But, and the dirt in there isn't my idea of a good soil. So I will take that soil out, down maybe 2 feet. And then get the soil from my raised galvanized beds and put it in here. Ideally, I would like these two at least. But any of these down the row, I would take. So if I took these, if they become open, then the dilemma for 3 pillars is that they have all of that area where the straw is, where my galvanized beds are, that will be open. There's nobody here that wants to in-ground plant, so wasted space. And do they have the money on the budget to build more raised beds. Highly unlikely. So I don't know what they plan on doing. If they would put raised beds in there, I told them that probably the people, you're setting people up for failure, because you know that I planted here with that tree and their gardens aren't going to grow. So it's in their hands now what they're going to do for me or for the garden area. But either way, I'll be here next year, or in spring I will move to any of the beds that are open in the full sun area. And I'll just have to suck it up that they have them lined with plastic, and that they have, I think this is, I don't know if this is cedar or is it pine. But I'll just do what I can do with these raised beds in full sun. I'll be happy. Here is the raised bed I had because nobody wanted it. And they gave me this person over here, Bailey's, gave me their tomato plant they didn't want. And I planted one tomato in here and fed entire third floor with cherry tomatoes. Drop some more spinach in here. We'll see how it amounts to producing. This is not the best soil, not a healthy soil, but we'll fix it. It gave me extra tomatoes. So now I would like to take you over to my herb area, and hope I'm not walking too bumpy. Let's first go to an area where I found elderberry. A elderberry bush, tree, whatever it's going to be. I want to give it more light. So I brought some cardboard out, and I whacked down all the box elder that was around it. And I put some stones on it for now till I get mulch on it. So this will be an area for an elderberry to grow. That's the elderberry. Gave it a little space on the bottom there till next year. Then I'll move the cardboard away a little more after some of this wild stuff underneath there dies off. But I'm hoping this is an area for elderberry. I'll do some trimming here. But it'll be a perfect spot, close to the edge of the property, where we don't have to go too far to harvest. And in an area where the water runs off. You can see the incline here off the building. So this area gets a fair amount of water. If you remember, I also have my comfrey in this wild area. Again, using cardboard to keep the grasses away from it. Isn't that a pretty planting? We're going to mulch the garden with it, those greens. I dried enough already for making comfrey infusions. So now, oh, and willow. Did I tell you that I took this willow in spring and stripped the bark and made it an oil infusion? Willow being like aspirin for pain relief. I'll let you know how it works. The infusion probably is done. It's been over a month, but I just let it sit. The longer the better. I have it in extra virgin olive oil, so it really has quite a long shelf life. So my bark area. This is kind of like Back to Eden, covering the earth with, oh gosh, there must be 8 inches of bark here over the, this is the 3rd year now. I am letting dandelions grow because then I don't have to hunt for them. Dandelions are along this area, but if I have them right in the bark, they should be pretty healthy after a couple of years. This is a rosemary I'm bringing in. Winter it downstairs, take off most of the needles. And then I have a St. John's wort. And this I'm going to let spread. It spreads by seed and it spreads by runner. And I'm using it mostly for pain. Making a pain salve and healing salve. I bought some from Mountain Rose Herbs. And I think it was 2-ounce container was 20 bucks. Nope, I can do that. Except I can't get a hold of arnica. But this is second best to arnica, I think, if not better, because this is used for depression too and anxiety. So I'm going to be moving some stuff or cutting it back. This is oregano, Greek oregano, and it likes to spread. You all know that. So it can have that spot, but it's just going to be smaller next year. Lemon balm being crowded by horseradish. So lemon balm's getting moved, the whole plant, next year. And where am I going to move it? Down on that end. There's a lot of room there. So we'll give lemon balm her own spot. Horseradish will get harvested in first week in November about, I think. Lovely for fire cider. Yep, and I like it making aioli sauces. Anything to spice it up. Now, here's my spearmint. This is what it does. Everybody knows that it all runs. So being in this bark, it pulls quite easily. So I will I keep it from going this way. I need a path here. So it can go that way all at once, but not this way. So I need to do some trimming just for a while. And if I don't trim, it's okay too. The strong will take over. So in here, I have a beautiful dandelion, and we leave it, and we eat it. Now here's some spearmint coming in. So I will water, and then I'll get my fork in here and work out some of this spearmint. So my yarrow, wild yarrow, has a spot of its own, or not overtaken by spearmint. Poor yarrow. It has peppermint on this side. Same thing. We'll weed it back so peppermint can go that way. Luckily, this isn't clay here. The bark is really making it a better soil, so it's easy to pull the mints. Yes, that's a daylily. I didn't plant it there. And every year it gets eaten by the deer. That's okay. My lavender. Lovely lavender. I don't know. You can see how thick it is. I do whack it back. I did dry some. Not much with a clump this small. I didn't have many flowers. But I had it in my teas. And again, spearmint. So we'll work on it. Beautiful sage. And lovely thyme. This is the creeping thyme. See how it gets matted? And this is a different kind of thyme. And I like this one. It's upright. We'll have them both. Now in this wild area, I have different weeds too. This is plantain in this area, which will come back. And this is lamb's quarters in this area. And I see that asters are taken over too. So most of these things except for the rosemary, are very aggressive. And this is a perfect spot for them. Because once I can't do this anymore, you know that these plants will be here probably close to forever. You can see this. So my gardening friends, I'm still doing it. Much smaller scale, but much, much less stress, like none. Garlic chives. So take care, my friends. And this might be it, but I doubt it because I still have to plant garlic. End of October. Take care, okay? Bye-bye.